Hey everybody, JD here. I wanted to take you all through the Synchro Cup, just give you a quick rundown of what I was seeing, what I was playing, do a little deck profile since I think I did pretty well. Ended up getting 14,000 DP, top 3,000 for the region, so not too bad. And I think I definitely could have gotten higher, just had I played more. That's realistically it. If we look at my match history, a lot of dubs, some L's, a lot of dubs though. So I'm actually kind of excited to go over this. I'm aware that this is definitely a top 8 finish in a 20-person regionals type of deck profile video, but hey, I haven't made one of them before, and I'm doing it for the love of the game. So let me take you through my deck real quick, and this is a Tenpai deck. I know, before you get your pitchforks out. It's a very, very small package in what is basically, that's just it. It's just 10 Tenpai cards and 30 cards to round it out. But there's a surprising amount of skill expression in this because with everything being so limited, you really have to rely on getting to it and then taking care of whatever else your opponent does. And there are a lot of good counterplay options in this festival. Very quickly, just the bones of the deck. One Pydra, one Fajra, one Genroku, one Dorodoro, one Chandra, and then one each of the spell cards, Sangen Summoning and Sangen Kaimen. In order to win the game, you have to have one of these in your hand. That or one of the 2 Planet Pathfinders that I put in, because there is sometimes literally no other way to just get to a Sangen Summoning. You will generally draw at least one of these in your first 6, but there's still like 20% of games where you don't, which makes the Purulias and the Maxis and the Upstart Goblin just so important, as well as the triple tactic talent. This suite of cards that just draws you extra cards is so important to this deck because you will sometimes just have to make sure that those go through in order for you to be able to draw into Tenpai in order to do anything. We're obviously running some of the blowout cards. 3 Dark Holes, which kind of tells you a lot about how this deck is needing to be played. And then, you know, a lot of just other miscellaneous hand traps. Should probably run 3 Impulses. Don't have 3 Impulses. Should probably run at least like 2 Fulos and Purulias. Don't have those. So I'm just playing with what I got, but with what I was able to cobble together, it ended up looking pretty good. The extra deck is literally just full of random synchros. Oh, that's why I could never summon Goyo Guardian. It needs an Earth Tuner. Didn't have those. Oh well. We still did pretty good, so I kind of want to run you through some of the matches that I did, just to kind of show what I was facing. And why this deck was able to perform so well. So there were a lot of really good answers to Tenpai in this format. Centurion Branded was like the biggest one and probably, in my opinion, the strongest deck in the format. It could just do everything, and the layered interaction that it had was so strong that you genuinely needed like 3 board breakers to get through. We'll talk about that in the duels that I show for it. But there was also Ice Barrier ended up being fairly popular. There was Red Rising Dragon, Dragon Archfiend. There were Clear Wings, and there were a smattering of other decks. So let's go through some replays here, just kind of show you what this deck played like. And you'll see that with basically like 10 Tenpai cards, some of which were really like scrounging the bottom of the barrel for how we could get to them, it could be pretty tough. So we do draw Chandra in opening hand, as well as 2 Mulch Armies, which is awesome. We're going to pitch Purulia in standby, just because if they normal summon, we get a draw off that. Fantastic. No other interaction here, so basically just wait to see if they're going to summon from extra deck, which they will do when they put another body on field, so we fool those here. And they will chain that, but it won't really matter too much because Purulia already covers that. So now we're drawing a lot of cards. We do have an Ash. We're going to bring out a Lancia. And this still could be a little tough because you've got to remember that with the Mulch Armies, you do have the +6 effect. So if they end on like 2 monsters, like a Lancia and then like a something else that's really strong, if I draw any more, I just have to discard, which is the reason that I don't use Max C here on this turn. I'm also going to just wait for them to... I'm also just going to use it on my next turn because I know basically every deck in this format is going to Synchro Summon on your turn, so saving Max C for that is important. They do bring out a really interesting card, Ravenous Crocoddragon Archithus, which in this case was about to draw 4, so we definitely have to use Ash for that. And then from there they say, all right, cool. Set a card and pass. So from here, we're in a really good position, but we do have 2 bricks in Planet Pathfinder. Use Max C, try to bait out an Ash. They don't have it. And then we will go Dark Hole before anything happens. They'll get a summon back off of that monster's effect. They bring out a Trishula. Fortunately, we do draw into Kaiman, which is actually crazy important, because if we don't draw 12 cards deep into our deck on their turn, this normal summon Chandra is not going to work. Like, we needed 12 cards in order to make this work. Ice Barrier is going to negate, so it's basically an imperm. What we can do is we can Song and Kaiman after we move to battle phase. Ice Barrier is going to pitch a card, which is going to refresh their hand, but not going to do anything here. So nothing important. Kaiman to bring out a Genroku to special summon itself, and then we can go into Tenpai combo and do some Tenpai things. Still, this is not a deck where you can just say, yep, summon card, summon card, summon card, as you will see in a minute here. We do have to special summon, we do have to quick synchro summon into Bident, and when we bring back Chandra. What I should have done here, though, is bring back Vajra, because, well, now Chandra goes to the graveyard because of Vajra's battle protection effect isn't here, which also means that Genroku does not have a quick synchro effect, which means that we can't bring out Trident Dragon to win here. So I did misplay here. Fortunately, we're in a position that's strong enough that we probably won't. Well, we won't get punished. I've won this duel. This is just a replay. But I'll bring out Ruddy Rose Dragon because that's actually a thing you can do. Not entirely sure. It's not here for a reason other than it's just another level 10 synchro dragon monster. But hey, it's technically support. They do have another card. They're going to cross out Max C just in case. I don't have it. They probably should have saved that. And then they will bring out Cheng Ying, which actually does put me in a bad position because now my 6,000 Transcendent Dragon is a 3,800, and they have a way bigger monster in the field that I can't do anything about. So I'll pass. We do have Effect Veiler, and Effect Veiler is going to turn on Magnum Hut this next turn, which will allow me to get Vajra, which will allow me to win the game here. But it's kind of crazy that through like 6 draws, because I didn't organize my dragons in the correct order, I'm going to have to normal summon Druisworm, crash, send to the graveyard, then take 5,000 damage to send Cheng Ying to the graveyard to finally attack with Ruddy Rose Dragon and win the game. It is interesting that this deck is so strong, but in the same vein, it is very particular. Like you do have to put a lot of thought into how to approach interacting with your opponent, which I think makes it a lot of fun. These games are not quick. These games are not just normal summon Chandra and leave. Let's go against let's show you a replay against a Red Rising deck. This is Soul Resonator into Red Rising Dragon into a bunch of Red Rising support, and they bring out a hot red dragon that just does everything and is just an absolute nightmare to play against. Fortunately for us, we do have Fuelos in our opening hand. We also have Droll, so opening Droll and any sort of the Molcharmy or Maxis is interesting. We also have Thrusts and Upstart, but very conspicuously, no Tenpais. So we're going to have to figure out how to play around that. Fortunately, they do start with Resonator Call, which is a pretty easy Droll here. I do want to Droll before the Fuelos, just in case they do something like Walk by the Grave. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to have a Fuelos online once they put their Soul Resonator out. That being said, Effect Veiler is one of the cards that you can't save for your turn for interruption, so there's no reason not to contest the normal summon with it here. They do that. Unfortunately for them, they don't have anything else. I can just assume that that's an Imperm since it's set in the Imperm column. And Upstart for Max C, we will Call by the Grave this just so that they don't have more interruption. Now this is a risk because we could just draw into nothing, but Upstart is going to give us 1, and then Triple Tactics Thrust is going to give us 2. Important to note that Called By doesn't negate the activation of Maxi, it just negates its effects. So they did activate a monster effect in the main phase, which means we do get to search Triple Tactics Talent, which means we do get to try to draw into 2 more cards, which will hopefully give us Bestial Magnum Hut. Is okay, it's going to give us Tenpai next turn, but for now we just crash into Soul Resonator, hope they don't have anything. Not that Imperm would have done anything there, but we do get to search the Tundra off the top. We do get to search the Tundra with Magnum Hut, so that's nice. We get to set the Dominus Impulse too, so it doesn't turn off Fuelos, even better. Now, we did draw into another Droll, so knowing that Red Rising Dragon decks are very, very weak to Droll, we can just do that. They're going to Harpy's Feather Duster. It's not Imperm, it's Red Zone, but that does not matter because nothing that they target is going to make a difference to us. And then we normal summon Chandra and win the game. So from there, we did simplify the game state. Pretty easy cleanup. Doesn't always work though. In the more recent games, I did have this one where I did lose to Centurion, and Centurion was absolutely like the biggest nightmare for me to play against because they can do some pretty nutty things, and they're very, very, very hand trap resistant. So if you don't get the right lingering floodgate online, they're a nightmare. They also made me go first, which is worse because as you've seen, we've drawn 5 non-engine, all of which are good, but none of which are getting us closer to winning the game. So they're going to Emblem of Oath to do Centurion stuff, and it's just going to be a smorgasbord of stuff. I can only really hope that I can stop them with everything that I have here. Effect Veiler on the Atri. They do have enough levels for a Synchro. Magnum Hut. I can counter the Magnum Hut with a Juris Worm to bring out my own Juris Worm, but that is only going to help so far because now they have to attack into it. Plus they thrust, which I'm just going to negate because they go into tactics. They're going to take my hand anyways, or they're going to draw 2 cards. Like, I'm losing my Ash anyways off of that in all likelihood. They go into Auxilla. I will Imperm that, and that's literally all I have. If they have anything else, they win the game. And fortunately for us, on this turn, they don't. But if that's an Imperm, then like it doesn't really matter what I draw other than Sunken Summoning. Yeah, Harpy's Feather Duster breaks the Imperm, and then does nothing. Their Auxil is in defense position, so I can't even crash Juris Worm and try to like get an empty board state. Even if I did, they would have Magnum Hut to summon back, and then it's murder she wrote from here. Centurion Branded is gonna put up some crazy stuff, and we just go through the motions until they kill me. Summon, 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 summon. And what makes Centurion kind of crazy is that because all of their summons come from like the back row, they set the back row first and then bring their cards out. Purulia has no effect. Fuelos is somewhat limited in its effect. Max C does work, but Max C is basically the only thing. They can get away with playing under Droll. They can get away with playing under Fuelos. They don't care about Purulia at all. So yeah, I do lose that one. That might be the only time I went first in the last like 15 games that I played. But I do have another one against Centurion that we actually did win. And this one was definitely a little bit of a barn burner. Right, let's get into this one. Alright, so we lost the coin toss, but we do get Purulia and Dora Dora Song and Summoning in opening hand. So we can actually do a number of plays with these 2 cards. Now it's just going to be a matter of getting to our turn. Unfortunately, Purulia against this deck just does not do anything. So instead of waiting for the start of the turn to... instead of shotgunning us at the start of the turn and trying to go 1 for 1, I just figured I'm going to save it, see what they're doing. They do, unfortunately, bait me into a misplay here. They have Centurion Chimeria, which is a card that I had not previously seen, which basically says if you use a hand trap, no, you don't. And that is really unfortunate for me because, as you can see, I've got Song and Summoning and Forbidden Droplet in hand. Could really use the discard fodder for both of those, but we'll see what we can do here. For the rest of the turn, this is just going to be them synchro summoning into a bunch of crap. Auxilla here is a key piece of like board protection. Face-up spell cards in their spell and trap zone can't be destroyed by card effects. Unfortunately for me, their field spell card has an opposite effect. Can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects while you control a Centurion monster card. Actually, it's basically the same effect, but these they make removing stuff insane. Plus, the spell cards that they're going to put, the Centurions that they're going to put in their back row can just be summoned in response to something like Lightning Storm. So as you're going to see here, it's a little tricky. We're going to start by Lightning Storming and Dropleting. The Droplet on the Lightning Storm will negate Auxilla, but they're going to bring their Centurions back into the back row. So the Lightning Storm is going to go... The Lightning Storm and the Forbidden Droplet is going to go 2 for 2. It's not the greatest. It might make quick synchroing a little bit harder, but no, it doesn't actually, because the field spell just goes off. And that's the part that really hurts, because once they do that, Crimson Dragon is going to get a Blazar Dragons. That's going to be another Omni Negate. So I am going to have to play through another Omni Negate with these 3 cards here. Which should be doable, because if we thrust, they're going to want to... Well, they don't negate anything there, but we'll just grab Raigeki, blow that up. It doesn't really matter what we grab, they're going to negate it. If it could be Tactics, it could be Triple Tactics Talent, it could be Raigeki, it could be Dark Hole. But now, fortunately, we do have Sangen Summoning. We're going to grab use Doradora. Doradora's going to... They're going to Ash the Doradora, but... I kind of want to see how this resolves. Yeah, so the Doradora resolves to grab us Genroku. And then they quit from there, because Sangen Summoning, Doradora. Cool. So we did successfully identify where their weak points were. We used every single one of our cards. And even from there, people really do tend to see... Basically, you get into the position where you normal summon a Tenpai monster that they can't contest, and then they say, oh, okay, I've lost the game, and they just quit. And I think that people shouldn't do that so much, because even if we go to the... Well, let's go to the board state of that last game really quickly. Even in that board state, it's not, like, guaranteed that I'm going to have enough to OTK there over that many monsters. We can walk through the combo together, but it's pretty extensive. You've got to get all the Tenpai monsters on board, and then be able to get a Trident Dragonion on with multiple attacks. So maybe, but it's pretty extensive. Let's see, they had 4 monsters on board, right? And this is a bit of a digression, but really, I would say I would give to anybody who is playing against Tenpai and then saying, all right, well, let's see what we can get. Let's see how far we can stop them. Just because they put a monster on board doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the game. Especially when you have such a recursive deck like Centurion, it can be pretty tough to crack that nut. Yeah, so they're going to end with a 1600, 2000, and 3000. That is going to turn into a Blazar that I'm going to get off the field. So maybe not. Maybe theoretically it would have been A-okay. They ash that. So we grab Genroku for Chandra for Hydra. Chandra, Pydra, Sangen, Kaiman for Vajra. Now we have 4 bodies on the field. They can go into Bident, attack once, attack twice, go into Transcendent. Go to the big guy, Transcendent Sangenpai, Transcendent Dragonion, force this guy into attack position, hit him once. Then we can bring back... Does Vajra bring back enough to get us... Oh no, Biden comes back again, so we can... if we have one more quick synchro, then we can go into Trident Dragonion, pop Sangen Summoning, pop something else, go 2 attacks, and then win. Okay, no, this was a board state that I don't think they could have done anything about, but it wasn't necessarily it wasn't a guaranteed win. I don't know. Maybe I am just overthinking this, as I'm wont to do. I tend to be a player that overthinks a lot of stuff. So having the challenge of getting 2 Tenpais in this deck in order to facilitate the win is a bit of a struggle in and of itself, especially when you can only normal summon Planet Pathfinder or just start on the field spell. But, you know, overall, it's a deck that performed really well. With more play, it would have performed even better, I think. and it ended up giving a pretty solid ranking. So I got to be happy with this one. If you are looking for a deck to play, I think that this just kind of just shows that Tenpai going forward will be a really powerful splashable engine. I've heard rumors of, even in the current meta, Fiendsmith Tenpai being a workable going second deck. So if you're looking for something that's relatively easy to splash in, especially in Master Duel Heal here while the Tenpai pack is back in the store. It's the first time that I've seen it. I started playing in last December, so about 9 months ago, and Radiant Inferno has 22 days left as of time of filming it. And since a lot of stuff is limited to one, you get a Chandra, you get a Kaimin, awesome. There's the bones of your deck. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile and overview and Synchro Cup overview. I will be making more YouTube videos, Yu-Gi-Oh videos on YouTube. Please look forward to them. I will see you all there. Bye-bye.